The deadliest creatures don't always come in the largest packages. The Cohen is a plump, venomous insect that proves size doesn't matter.
That's what she said!
When you have the right tools for assassination. These creatures are smart enough to be used as living weapons, capable of evading advanced security systems and crawling directly to their targets. Zam Wessel used a pair of them in an attempt to assassinate Senator Padmé Amidala, and they nearly succeeded in their deadly mission. Their tiny forms make them perfect for slipping into places even the most advanced assassin droid couldn't reach, turning bedrooms and safe houses into potential death traps. Kuhans move with deliberate stealth, able to avoid detection from even sophisticated droids like R2-D2. Their venom is potent enough to kill most humanoid species within minutes, and they're programmed with enough intelligence to find specific targets in complex environments. What makes them particularly terrifying is their persistence. Once they've been set on a target, they'll continue their mission until they succeed or are destroyed. Their 6-segmented legs allow them to climb virtually any surface, while their chitinous exoskeleton provides natural camouflage against most backgrounds. The fact that they can be purchased and used by assassins means that nowhere is truly safe in the Star Wars galaxy. Even your own bedroom can become a hunting ground for these tiny killers. Their small size allows them to hide almost anywhere, and their natural camouflage makes them nearly impossible to spot until it's too late. They embody the frightening idea that even the most secure places can be infiltrated by something you'd never expect. Perhaps the most disturbing creature in all of Star Wars lore is the Geonosian brainworm. These microscopic parasites represent every person's worst nightmare. Losing control of their own body while remaining fully conscious of what's happening, the worms crawl into their host's brain through the nasal cavity and take complete control of the nervous system, turning living beings into zombie slaves who retain their consciousness but lose all free will. That level of horror makes them far worse than a simple predator, because they take away the very thing that makes you human, your ability to choose. The Clone Wars showed us entire armies controlled by these parasites, creating some of the most horror movie-like storylines in Star Wars history. The infected can perform complex tasks and even fight effectively, but they're completely under the worm's control. What makes this even more terrifying is that the worms can reanimate dead bodies, creating armies of the undead that feel like something out of a nightmare. The parasites can survive in extreme temperatures and actually multiply inside their host, eventually producing new generations of brainworms ready to spread. The process of infection is almost unstoppable once it begins, and the only way to remove the worms is through extremely dangerous surgery. These creatures represent the ultimate violation of personal autonomy, making them perhaps the most psychologically terrifying monsters in the galaxy. The very thought of being trapped inside your own body, screaming silently while someone else moves it, is the stuff of pure horror. Sometimes the most tragic monsters are the ones that never wanted to be part of the conflict in the first place. The Zillo Beast was sleeping peacefully beneath the surface of Malastare until Republic bombing campaigns awakened it from its slumber. This skyscraper-sized creature represents nature's revenge against the destructive forces of war, and his power is absolutely devastating. Blaster fire bounces off its armored hide like raindrops, and even lightsaber strikes can't penetrate its natural armor. The Republic quickly realized they had awakened something they couldn't possibly contain, but by then, it was already too late. The creature's size is its most obvious weapon. It can easily swat starfighters out of the sky and crush ground vehicles under its massive feet. Its whip-like arms can demolish buildings, and its spike-covered tail can pierce through the strongest materials. But what makes the Zillo Beast truly tragic is its intelligence. This isn't a mindless monster, it's a thinking creature that understands it's been thrust into a war it never wanted to join. Its mournful roars echo across battlefields like ancient songs of sorrow, and its eyes show a deep intelligence that borders on wisdom. The beast's ultimate fate at the hands of Republic scientists adds another layer of tragedy to its story, making it one of the most sympathetic monsters in Star Wars lore while remaining absolutely terrifying in its destructive capabilities. Its death left behind unanswered questions about cloning and exploitation, cementing the Zillo Beast as both a tragedy and a warning morning. Han Solo's return to smuggling took a dangerous turn when he started transporting live cargo in the form of rathtars. These creatures look like fast-moving meatballs covered in dozens of eyes and even more tentacles, but their appearance is deceiving. They're actually incredibly dangerous predators that move with terrifying speed and intelligence. When Rey accidentally released 3 of them aboard Han's freighter, the ship immediately became a death trap. The chaos that followed showed just how quickly a rathtar can turn a simple job into an absolute massacre. Rathtars hunt by bouncing around their environment like deadly beach balls, using their many tentacles to grab prey and pull it toward their central mouth. They're smart enough to work together when hunting, and their speed makes them nearly impossible to outrun in confined spaces. The creatures seem to enjoy the hunt as much as the kill, playing with their prey before consuming it. Their digestive acids are so powerful they can dissolve durasteel plating, and their tentacles can stretch to nearly 3 times their body diameter. Finn nearly became a rathtar meal during the chaos on Han's ship, saved only by quick thinking and perfectly timed door controls. These creatures are valuable on the black market precisely because they're so difficult to capture and contain, but their escape almost inevitably leads to disaster for everyone involved. To many, even the idea of smuggling rathtars is insane, but that's exactly the kind of risk Han Solo was taking at the time. The Mandalorian introduced audiences to creatures that make arachnophobes everywhere break out in cold sweats. While Grogu thought ice spider eggs were delicious snacks, the adult specimens proved to be pure nightmare fuel. The swarm of smaller spiders that emerged from their underground nest was terrifying enough, but the massive parent that gave chase to Din Djarin, Grogu, and Frog Lady looked like something crawled out of the deepest, darkest corner of a horror movie. Few creatures in Star Wars have managed to capture the same primal terror quite as effectively as the ice spider. These creatures have adapted perfectly to the frozen environments of their homeworld, with bone-white exoskeletons that provide both camouflage and protection. Their protruding mouths are filled with razor-sharp teeth, and their ability to fire webbing makes them incredibly effective hunters. The parent spider's size was truly massive, easily capable of crushing the Razor Crest if it had caught up to the fleeing ship. Their legs can span over 30 feet, and they produce anti-freeze proteins that prevent their body fluids from crystallizing in sub-zero temperatures. What makes ice spiders particularly dangerous is their protective instinct. They'll pursue threats to their offspring across vast distances, and their web-spinning ability means they can set traps for pursuing prey. The sight of hundreds of smaller spiders swarming across the ice remains one of the most unsettling images in recent Star Wars media. For many fans, it was the closest Star Wars has ever come to full-on survival horror. Darkness makes every creature more frightening, and the Fernok has mastered the art of shadow hunting. These ferocious beasts are native to the jungles of Anaxes, where they move exclusively under cover of night. About the size of a human when young, Fernoks can grow to truly massive proportions as they age, becoming apex predators in their jungle environments. The Ghost Crew's encounter with a pack of these creatures in the Star Wars Rebels episode Out of Darkness showcased just how dangerous they can be in group. Their screeches alone sent chills down spines, signaling the hunt was on. Fearnoks are incredibly aggressive and territorial, attacking anything that enters their domain after sunset. Their nocturnal nature means they have excellent night vision and heightened senses that make them nearly impossible to evade in darkness. What makes them particularly dangerous is their pack hunting behavior. They coordinate their attacks and can quickly overwhelm even well-armed opponents. Their claws can slice through Beskar steel, and they communicate through subsonic growls that can disorient prey and coordinate pack movements effectively. The creatures seem to have some level of intelligence, as they can set ambushes and use terrain to their advantage. Light is their one weakness, which explains why abandoned facilities in Fearnok territory always have emergency lighting systems. The lesson is clear: if you're ever on Anaxes after dark, you better have a very bright flashlight and a fast ship nearby, or you may not leave at all. Clone troopers learned the hard way that even quiet assignments can turn deadly when they encountered the Rishi eel on the remote listening post. This massive creature represents the perfect ambush predator, burrowing into mountainsides and waiting patiently for prey to wander within striking distance. With piercing red eyes that can spot movement from great distances and surprising agility for its size, the Rishi eel turned what should have been a routine patrol into a life or death struggle. It's the kind of predator that thrives on patience, letting curiosity or routine patrol route deliver prey right to its jaws. The creature's hunting strategy is brutally effective. It remains perfectly still until prey comes close enough, then strikes with lightning speed. Its jaws are large enough to swallow a human whole, as one unfortunate clone trooper discovered. The Rishi eel's ability to remain hidden in rocky terrain makes it nearly impossible to detect until it's too late. Its serpentine body can extend over 50 meters in length, and specialized sensors in its jaw can detect heartbeats from incredible distances. These creatures have learned to associate certain sounds and vibrations with potential prey, making them particularly dangerous around military installations, where regular patrols create predictable movement patterns. The fact that rookie clone troopers had to deal with both separatist attacks and native predators shows just how dangerous supposedly safe assignments can become in the Star Wars galaxy. Even survival training couldn't prepare soldiers for a monster like this. Not every monster encounter ends in violence, as Rey discovered when she came face to face with a Vexus snake in The Rise of Skywalker. This massive armor-plated serpent initially appeared to be a serious threat, with its pale mouth full of large teeth and beady black eyes fixed on the young Jedi and her companions. The creature's imposing size and defensive posture created an incredibly tense standoff that could have ended in disaster. It loomed like a nightmare from a legend, the kind of beast you'd expect to find guarding ancient ruins rather than hiding underground. However, Rey's connection to the Force allowed her to sense that the Vexus was actually injured and only baring its fangs out of self-preservation rather than aggression. Her decision to heal the creature using Force abilities transformed a potentially deadly encounter into a moment of understanding between species. The Vexus's wounds were likely caused by Imperial machinery, and its grateful response to Rey's healing showed remarkable emotional intelligence and memory. These serpents can live for centuries and possess near-perfect recall, meaning they remember every kindness or cruelty shown to them across their extended lifespans. This interaction teaches us that not all fearsome-looking creatures are actually threats. Sometimes they're just scared and in pain. The Vexus's natural prey probably wouldn't have been so fortunate, as these snakes are formidable predators in their native environments. Their armored scales provide excellent protection against most weapons, and their size advantage makes them dangerous opponents even when they're not actively hunting. Their survival instincts make them some of the galaxy's most misunderstood monsters. From venomous insects to skyscraper-sized beasts, these creatures prove that danger in Star Wars comes in all shapes and sizes, and believe it or not, the scariest monsters are still yet to come in Part 3. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more related content shown on screen.